But I think it misunderstands the basic genre of the text of Genesis. And it seems to me both six-day creationists and the skeptics are reading Genesis 1 the same way. They're reading it literalistically. And I actually draw a distinction between literalistic and literal. A literal interpretation, which is my own interpretation, says what was the author actually trying to convey through the literary methods available to him. And a literalistic approach to Genesis says, well, I'm not so interested in what the author intended to say, what is actually said. What do the words actually say? And don't worry about whether there's any metaphor or whatever in it. So it's a genre question for me.
Okay, so genre seems to emphasise the purposes for which this literature might be written.
It does. It's like a parable. You know, when you come across a parable in the New Testament, you know what its intention is. It may or may not be a true story, say the parable of the Good Samaritan. It may or may not have actually happened, but that's not the point of the story. Or when you come to the book of Revelation, there's plenty of different images of beasts coming up out of the water and so on, and Jesus returning to earth riding a white horse. The point isn't that these things will happen in that concrete way. They're describing something using that metaphor. And I think to read, say, Revelation and the parable literally is sensitive to the original intention. To read it literalistically would say the parable of the Good Samaritan actually happened, or Jesus will actually come riding on a horse.